Look, I mean, how comfortable it is, how wonderful it's been to be here. I mean, we were so well treated, you know. It was really remarkable and so comfortable here. She was talking about at one point going, you know, I could stay a couple more weeks. You know, it would be. I really am comfortable here. Yeah, she's in her brain going, I could stay, couldn't I? I said, of course you can stay. You know, it's like you get to do what you want. But that room is comfortable. They've given me the honor of teaching here. I mean, that's it. Think of the gravity of that. An American man, you know, coming, you know, over here, it'd be like, I don't even know what to compare it to in the Western world. I have nothing like it. But a subject that I became so excited about all those years ago, and then to come back to its home root and teach here.
I don't know if I have it. They chanted.
Is it your first workshop in India?
Repeat, I'm
We
sorry.
sang along. It was really cool.
No, I taught last year in Michigan. They invited me to the yoga festival, and I had a fabulous time. I loved it.
You know, we are familiar with you because there was a recording of Guruji at Estate Park.
Yes.
So we have been following that for some time. So that's how we.
I see you. So you've studied with the master by DVD.
Yes.
There's no better teacher than Guru.
Yes,
I'm just unbelievable, fantastic. You were talking about language before. The way that man can conduct a class is just, it sounds like he's talking straight to my leg. Doesn't, you understand? It doesn't go through my brain, down my spine, into my leg. It seems to go straight to my leg.
And we find same kind of vibrancy in you.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. Well, I learned from the best, like I said. But I've been with Guruji since 76, you know?
Yeah. What were you doing before that?
Everything you could imagine. I was supposed to go to law school, I didn't go. Mm-hmm. I was a waiter, I was a bartender, but I became a yoga teacher. And the only reason I'm a full-time yoga teacher is because of her. When I lost my job waiting tables, and I said, okay, I'll go find another job. I've got people that will hire me as a waiter. She said, no, it's time for you to become a full-time yoga teacher. And so she's the one that gets all the credit for that.
And how did you meet Guruji?
His book.
I see.
I studied with his book for more than 2 years before I knew he was alive. Because I thought the pictures were shot in the 40s, and I thought that the copyright date on Light on Yoga was an American copyright date that had nothing to do with the original published date. Okay. So I didn't know that the man was alive. You know, those photos, not the ones you see now. The original plates for those photos, all the photos were in the back of the book, like the old books. You remember the books in the library that you see? Because it was so expensive to put books together with that material. They always used to put photo to photo to photo. In India, certainly do. Certainly they do. But all of his original work was published that way. So I studied out of his book, not knowing that anybody could study with him. You know, it was impossible because these wonderful pictures, if you look at them, you see what I'm saying, they could have been shot in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. There's no way to tell. There is nothing on there that allows you to remember, to figure out what he was doing or when he was doing it. And then when I found out that he was alive and coming to the Bay Area, then it took me almost a year and a half to get into one of those classes to see him. And then it took us more than a year. It took us more than a year between when we heard he was coming and when he actually showed up. It was late 74.
That I didn't remember.
Anyway, after I met him, I came home to her and I said, this is the real deal. I found the guy. And 6-7 months later, I was in Pune. We were in Pune. May to January. That's 7 months. May to January. You were in India in January.
Actually, with his birthday, we happened to
I was wrong. I want a divorce from her. What I told you before was false, and I was lying. She wants to move to Scottsdale. And I decided, that's what she said. She said, Rita's moving to Scottsdale, I'm moving to Hawaii. That's it.
It's a long story. We'll fill you in later.
No, I won't. I'm going to leave it just like that.
We happened to meet. She was standing at the temple doors and I asked her where you from and she said San Francisco. I said, Manouso Manos. He happened to be my husband. Was her reaction.
And then we said, oh, you are Manouso's wife. Yes, I'm Manouso's wife. Everybody calls me his wife.
Well, now most people in San Francisco know me as Rita's husband. So
That's an honor for you.
We had to have name tags at the Boston convention. So, of course, we made Ramanan the boss, and Guruji was Guruji, and you need to...
It was Michigan U's athletic facility, and we're in Ann Arbor.
I wasn't in there now.
Okay, you're right. So
we
it was
were
Boston.
at Patricia's house.
So we were in Boston, and then but you couldn't get into Harvard without a name tag, and we were given a name tag, and they said just tell us anything
Any
you want,
name.
but you can't get in without a name tag.
So Guruji was Guruji, and Ramanan was the boss, and everybody had known me as Manouso's wife, so I said, he's Rita's husband, and that's what I wrote on his name tag, and they let him in. I mean, they didn't care what it said.
And Guruji didn't care. Oh, sure, because you might as well have fun with it. It's like, okay, I'll play by the rules. You want my name? You have my name. Guruji used to have a bench outside his place. It's been removed because they put cars there now occasionally. But he tells the story that he was out there one day and he's just sitting on that bench. It was a quiet time between classes. And somebody walks up and asks, they think he's the gardener. And they turn to him and they go, this is where that famous man Iyengar lives? He says, yes, I believe so. and the story goes on that, you know, they're treating him on, is he really as wild as they say that he is? Well, maybe.
You can have these chairs. They're looking for you. You can have these.
Come on, we're family, take.
अभी है ही और है ना
Nice catch.
महाराज जी का
हाँ
महाराज जी का हो गया
हो गया
चला गया
चले गए अच्छा मतलब अंदर से देखना
We got room for you here, Marla.
Who was that?
No,
Anybody know?
Guruji never told
And
me.
no
who
one
it
ever said this happened. Can you imagine being the person that did that?
was. What their body's doing incorrectly. Because
Yeah,
he
that's
remembers the
right.
pose. He's in a back bend in the back of the room. Sometimes he can see, sometimes he
Yeah,
can't.
so a lot of times he's looking.
But
I think he just sees the people walking in the room when they first come in, and he knows already what this is.
Right. And then he starts.
well you did that to me once in your before the abode
Yes.
when you used to teach at the institute
Yes.
I will never forget. You're by the door. I'm in the way other corner of the room. You've got me in supported Jana Shirshasana. You've got the whole room doing something else. From the door, you tell me, close your eyes. My face is in a bolster. My arms are like this.
There's those Wednesday and Saturday classes used to be women's only. And he took over teaching them, and now they've let men in the Wednesday class, not in the Saturday class. That Saturday class is, in fact, only for women. The men are allowed to watch, but not participate. And so he's now you can really take a class because he has a beginning and a middle and an end, and he gives the whole thing. So he whispers to somebody. He doesn't stand in the front and start shouting. That's his own way. Now he stays back here and he tells whether it's his granddaughter or one of the other people, and he says, tell them to do this and this and this. Now do this pose. He'll tell the assistant, do this pose. Now you see how your leg moves like this, and we'll tell them. Go to the front and explain that to them. And that's the way the class runs. So it really is his class. There's no question that he's teaching. And he's on fire. He's in really good shape. He's so sharp. You're walking into a really good one. He said he was sick not long before we got there. But now he's firing on all guns. It's astonishing.
I did get that weird email from Gloria that said he's fine now. I wrote it back. When I left, he was fine. What did you do?
What did you do?
It was in September. It was in September.
But he was not well.
Yeah. Oh yes, he got sick.
My teacher just visited him.
Well, I'm telling you, in late December, amazing.
During his birthday also, it was really electrifying. It's amazing to see him in action throughout the day, from dawn to dusk.
Emailing me in her car.
He was in full Padmasana in back bend, 15 minutes on each side.
getting back at
Half
8
hour in
at
back
night.
bend, Padmasana. And this is a 94-year-old man who threw his knee out and couldn't do Padmasana for almost 10 years. He got Padmasana back after that many years.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
It's just amazing. just astonishing. Doesn't even sound possible.
And didn't his son hurt his shoulder or his arm? And he
His
did the
arm
same thing
had
he taught him
every
how to-
mother's nightmare happen to him. He's got his arm out the window
Except
like
he kept
this,
his arm.
and a truck clipped his arm and
shit.
turned all of the bone from here to here, all three bones and the elbow to dust. They literally just they crumbled, crushed that hard. So
How did he keep his arm?
took him to the hospital, and then they started to rebuild the arm from pieces of his leg. You know how they take the bone and etc. I tried to get him a medical evac into the States because there was a guy that was going to rebuild his elbow in the modern technology and the way to do it, but he said he wasn't coming to America. He had no interest. He let the Indian doctors take care of it. So now he can't lift more than 15 pounds on that arm. You know,
I went to high school with a boy that lost his arm.
I remember my mom told me that a long time ago, and that Iyengar just had him doing all kinds of
oh yes,
different asanas.
oh yeah, to rebuild the whole thing.
That's when his teaching also changed, right? That's
Yeah. He was very much on a different line before that. He was always a philosopher, and he still continues to be. Yeah.
Did Guruji come hard at you anytime?
Always. With love. Now, don't get me wrong.
yeah, definitely.
Really quite tough. And because I came with a back problem, I giggle with her. It was so bad on me at one point that, his institute's on the second floor. You had to walk upstairs to get there. I'd come up on all fours because I was in such pain. My body wouldn't do it. I'd put my hands down and you can have it, and I'm crawling up the stairs, to get there. And he'd say Tadasana, and I go,
It seemed like every muscle hurt. It really did. I didn't know I had muscles.
yeah.
Of course, when he looked at me, I would grip everything.
First time we were there were very few people in class. We're doing back bend over the chair. He says, you're too tall for the chair. It's before they built the big chairs. You're too tall for the chair. Go over that stool. So I go over the stool. He's got a bench like this. He points at me there. So everybody's there 15 minutes. Then he tells everybody, now we do Ekapada. So they get to get out of the chair. He says, not you. You stay. So they get out of the chair so they can put their right leg over the top. Then they lie back again. Now, I've got to put my right leg up. Then they go down. He says, everybody come out, put your left leg up. Not you. Don't move. So I'm there like 25 minutes, Now, I'm in trouble. I'm not talking little trouble. I'm in big trouble. I'm either going to cry or I'm going to run out of the room screaming. And before I run out of the room, I want to hit him straight in the mouth on my way out the door because I'm in so much pain, I can't believe it. And then, I know, my leg never went down and I never got off of the bench. And then I stand for no reason, and I still to this day cannot explain to you why, I burst out laughing. I'm not talking little laughing, I'm talking because it's so absurd to me. I'm paying this guy and I'm dying here. And he comes over and he turns his head like this, where he's looking me in the eye, and I'm laughing, and he just starts laughing and laughing and laughing. For 2 or 3 days afterward, everybody else in the room is walking up to me going, what did he say to you? He didn't say anything. What are you guys laughing about? Just the absolute craziness of it. And he got it. And I go, and this was, I don't have any great end to this story other than it was just so much that everything that was in me just started to let go and started to, and Guruji certainly understood it. He understood it from deep inside of him. So.
That's amazing that you remember that.
He was trying to teach us how to go from handstand to back bend, drop back, and then to flip back over. Now he's got a stage in his institute. Marble, beautiful piece, less than 3 feet tall. Smaller than a meter. So I drop over and I try to move and I get scared. I am frightened. I get up on my toes and I start rocking like this and I start rocking. I can't move. I can't get my feet to come off of anywhere. He comes up beside me, kicks me really hard in the buttocks. I go flying over like that. So then he goes, now repeat and keep going, fast. Now there's a group of us, not a lot. There's only maybe 7 or 8 of us there because he didn't let everybody do it. He's only got 7 or 8 of us along there. How many did you do? 8. How many did you do? 9. How many did you do? 8. How many did you do? He points at me. 27. Because I was the only one that got the kick, and I just went. And he starts laughing, and it was just.
The rest of my 27 catch up.
No, we were done. We moved on from there. But she was there for this one too. We were there in the early years. He's teaching us how to do Bakasanas. So you go to Shirshasana 2, you go down into Bakasana, straighten your arms. Huh?
What is Bakasana?
Bakasana is the pigeon pose where your legs come up against your arms. It's an arm balance pose. Yeah. And you stand there like that, but you're curled into yourself like this. Okay. So he says, okay, it shows it, demonstrates how to do it. He's 50, no, he's 60, almost something like that at the time. He says, then you put your head down, you straighten your legs, you go back up into Shirshasana 2. He says, that's 1. He says, now do 10. But if you touch the floor with your foot, you have to start again counting. So you go up, you come down. You go up, you come down. After 3, you got no strength left. Your body's just dying, and you touch, and he's across the room now. I'm talking way across the room. As soon as he touches, he says, start again. That's the one that was down. The next one's number 1.
Nobody did.
Nobody did.
We were
But he was building
by
strength.
the
It
end.
was like, this is the way it's going, this is what it's going to take.
He put me on stage one time and said, see, look at her back. I've been punched up anyhow. But he got me to move once. I thought it was funny that I was the demo guy.
But you know, everybody that comes tells the exact same story. The people that I met who were there 10 years before all say, you should have seen him 10 years ago. He was really tough. Then you talk to the people 10 years, yeah, but you don't even know how tough he was in the early years. So we're all like that.
Yeah, my teacher used to say the same thing.